This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Alongside the one and only Steven Simcox, and we're twinning today.
We are.
A little black hoodie action.
Black hoodie action, yeah, that's right.
You know, I feel this is a good look for me. It's a good look for most dudes. Mm-hmm. Garrett's got a hoodie on. Emery's got a hoodie on. Craig will have a hoodie on. Mm-hmm. Smokey today is going to feel really out of place.
And Craig, I mean, it doesn't really matter what temperature.
No, he's always.
It is outside. He's going to have a hoodie on, yeah. But it is sort of we're in that window of kind of semi-fall for the state of Texas, where it's cooler in the mornings and warmer in the afternoons. So hoodie and shorts is the way to go, or hoodie and blue jeans. That's a good style. It's
just very strange, right? It's just very.
It is. Yeah.
It's like it's a weird time of the year here in Texas, and I wish it would just be cold. I'm only going to be in this state for 2 more days after this one, and then I'm in Tennessee, where it will be legitimately like
chilly,
mild winter. Mm-hmm. Although 2 years ago, it was severe winter because there's severe winter everywhere. That was after the Armed Forces Bowl, and you know I've never been a total fan, as you know, of Amon Carter Stadium and the way that they run things there. There's always like one little thing that bothers me. Mm-hmm. Like forever, they've let people like. There's this whole like if you're facing the field, there's a whole left side of the press box that are people that are like grandfathered in of sitting in the press box, and they're not reporters. They're just like people who work there.
Right. Stadium workers, maintenance people, that type of thing.
And they cheer.
They do.
And it's just not done
anywhere else.
And it gets kind of annoying because you're not like supposed to have that in the press box. But like that's a minor thing. Mm-hmm. Like they finally now have put you into an entrance that like when the elevator opens, you're by the press box and not. They had the most circuitous route from media entrance to press box of anywhere ever. Because it's not like, it's a very nice stadium, but it's not like it's, Rose Bowl big. But like the way you'd walk around it, you'd feel like you were in the Rose Bowl or something like that.
Have they moved visiting teams? I haven't paid a lot of attention the last few times I've been. Have they moved visiting teams into a
room
for media?
No. It's still
just that.
It's still in an
breezeway.
Area. It's just an area. It's nothing. So when you're there, you might as well not use any. You can't use any of the post game sound because what is happening is the team is rolling up their stuff and leaving, and then above you can hear people
walking
and cleaning and talking. So you hear people like pounding. But that day was the worst one because we had this. It was 1 degree outside, max. Emery was outside the whole time, and his whole thing is he's looking at me right now like, oh yeah, you're a little bitch because you were outside for like 20 total minutes and not consecutively. I was outside for hours.
Was he taking photos?
Yeah, he was taking photos or video.
Bad decision by you, Emery.
Yeah. He and Jack were just, and like, again, miserable. Like we're all, like my hands never got warm the whole day from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 9, 10 o'clock at night when we left. My hands were never warm. And that was even with gloves on. But there are 2 sides to the parking lot, main parking lot right outside. There's this side and there's that side. And the guy who was running the bowl committee said, look, nobody's coming. You can park up close. So I was like, great, awesome. So I pull in because of the way I'm coming in, it was closer that way. Well, the guy wouldn't let me in. And the guy on the other side was letting everybody in. So I got like the one dude who was like, no. They gave me a job.
And I'm going to do it, by golly.
And you are not getting in here over my dead body will you get in here. And then here's the other thing. When we're walking stuff in, I had to stop and like readjust because my hands were so cold. He then let a car almost back into our equipment so much so that I had to like run and like slap the car. And I was like, there's a special rung in hell for you, sir.
I remember that day because I took my kids to this event in my hometown, and I don't say this in a derogatory way. I'm just describing the people. The people that worked at this event looked like carnies. Like it was a
then they were carnies.
Yes, it was a traveling event.
Yeah.
Like they go city to city doing this Christmas festival type thing.
Yeah.
And I remember never being that cold in my life, but we had gone the night before and there was this train my kids wanted to ride. So I said, okay, we'll go as soon as it opens and we'll get out there. We'll do the train ride and then we'll come home. Well, we get to the place and it was just the three of us on this train. And it was so cold that it was supposed to be like around, and it was supposed to be, the track was supposed to be about a mile. The train driver drove like a block, turned it around, parked it, walked into the building, and didn't say a word to us. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess it's done. But that was that in the ice apocalypse the year before was my realization, Paul, that I used to tell people all the time, and I'm not in love with the Texas heat. I'm not saying that, but I used to say I'd rather be cold than hot. But at that point in my life, I didn't really understand what cold was. When I experienced those cold snaps, I was like, you know what? I think I'd rather deal with the heat because I'm familiar with that foe.
All it took was when Smokey and I went to Minneapolis for the Super Bowl for me, when you experienced that, and then you experienced it, and to me it was hellish. It was a frozen hellscape. And all I could think about was the movie Fargo, and then why that movie and the show work because of the climate there, how much different it is, right? It wouldn't, you couldn't do a Fargo type show in Miami. You can do Miami type shows in Miami, right. But you can't do this
very sad, very
this dark humor, kind of thing. There, but there are people I remember going out of the front desk and asking the lady, I was like, hey, what is there something that's not an Outback Steakhouse or the hotel restaurant that I can get to without, much fanfare here? And Smokey was still there. He left before I went to the game. He went home. But this was on that Friday night. I was like, is there some place, or the Saturday? I was like, is there some place I can just go? And fortunately, I got a text from a buddy of mine who's a pilot, and he's like, hey, I'm in Minneapolis. I'm at this hotel by the Mall of America, and I could just get on the shuttle and go. But she was like, what do you mean much fanfare? I'm like, well, I don't want to walk outside all that much. And she's like, well, it's not so bad. I'm like, it's -12. I was like, this is ridiculous.
You got to have some perspective, lady.
There's other places you can live, right?
Yeah.
There's other places where
you have Stockholm syndrome. I don't.
Yeah. She's like, oh, well, she's like, oh, honey, it's way worse most of the time. And I was like, yeah, how's it worse than this?
That's why I don't live here.
I was like, this is insane. You people are crazy. You Thor. Yeah. You're named after a Norse god. That's not normal. You know what Norway is? It's friggin' cold. Okay. And your parents named you that, so maybe you would emotionally jump over the cold. But no, it's cold. It is beyond cold. And then you see these idiots out there ice fishing like it's nothing. And they're like, oh, that's great. It's great weather. No, this is not great weather, sir. You can fish where you don't have to cut a hole to get to the water. You can just be on the water.
Isn't part of the thing about Minneapolis, though, that they have a lot of insulated walkways? Is that a thing?
The downtown. Okay. I was by we were staying at a hotel just off the Mall of America.
Okay.
Which, I got to tell you, a little repetitive. It's the biggest mall, but it's because there's 6 gaps. Give me something else. And do you have different khakis in Gap West than Gap North? No, I don't. How many different Starbucks can you have in here?
Right. What's the record for Hot Topic stores in one?
Yeah,
one general area?
It's not all that great. But anyway, Stephen, we got some college football stuff to talk about. I tried to talk about this with Craig the other day, and I didn't get the response I wanted. I'm not sure why I'm surprised, but I do need to get all this out. And this is not college football, but I do feel that you are the person I can go over this with.
Okay.
I need Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time to be stricken from music. I've been to a lot of Christmas things the last month.
You're hearing it a lot?
I hear it a lot. I hear there's covers of it. And Paul McCartney did a lot of great things. Okay, he's a Beatle, Wings, all that stuff. He's written beautiful, wonderful songs. Hey Jude gets me in my soul every time I hear it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. My dad listened to that song on like over and over again before he went to Vietnam, and it really meant something to him. It really means something to me. But simply having a wonderful Christmas time is criminal. It is, Paul McCartney he wrote down a list of things that happen at Christmas, and then he sung them to the most basic keyboard melody he could sing. Like,
I'm trying to think of any more. I can't place like any more lyrics other than simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yes, okay.
But
I'm looking at the lyrics.
Is it just the fact that you've heard it over and over again, Paul, or is it that you just hate the song in general?
Okay. The mood is right. The spirit's up.
Okay, yeah.
We're here tonight, and that's enough. Like right now, it tells you. And that's enough is the fourth line of the song. That was his whole thing.
It's not exactly like Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's enough. That's enough. Simply having the parties on, the feelings here, this only comes this time of year. And then the choir of children sing their song, ding, ding, dong, 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 ding, ooh, 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 ooh. He makes a bunch of noises. The word is out.
As the British
about the town to lift a glass. Oh, and don't look down. What does that even mean?
He's just a Mad Libs.
Yeah.
He's just throwing words together.
The choir of children sing their song. They practice all year long. I mean, it is the laziest song that he could have like, this dude is one of the ones who got high and wrote Yellow Submarine.
Well, hey, listen.
And this, like, here's the deal. He could have taken LSD dipped in mushrooms, wrapped in a big doobie, and the song would have been way better than sober Christmas song that has been covered. And he just makes money off this. And no one says anything because he's Paul McCartney. Well, I'm saying something. It's time we kick this one out of existence. It's lazy, and we should not include it in the pantheon of platinum level hits that he has.
I was going to say this, but now that I think about it, it doesn't really make sense. I was going to say, like, movie actors, they'll say, like, one for me, one for you, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to go do, like, I'll go do an A24 character piece, and then I'll go do
Marvel.
A Marvel movie, a red one with The Rock, and, you got to pay bills. But Paul McCartney, like, everything he does is really for everyone because he's had commercial success. It's not like he's an indie singer that was just like, okay, I'm going to stop writing the poems and write this song. My controversial take, I'm kind of over Last Christmas by Wham.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard it a lot. It could be because my 7-year-old Abby, she sings it around the house a lot, and she thinks it's very funny to say Last Christmas I gave you my butt. She thinks that's really hilarious.
Yeah.
And other variations of that.
She's like Michael Scott. You live with Michael Scott.
Yeah. And I mean, it is kind of funny. But anyway, that's the Christmas song that this particular season I'm over.
Yeah. No,
but I'm with you on simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
I mean, it's just lazy. And honestly, like, I don't even think he wrote the music. Back in the 80s, like, and you could still do this, but like when keyboards came, you had like electronic keyboards, you could just push a button and it would give you like
some sort of rhythm.
Some sort of rhythm.
Yeah.
And I pretty much feel he was just like, okay, here we go. Write down a bunch of things that happen at Christmas. All right, here we go.
We got a song now.
I'm a Beatle. Like, I can get away with anything.
It's a great impression. Oh, man.
So I don't know. I had to say it. I had to get it out. I had to get all of it out. But the lyrics are very lazy. And we need to, as a society, tell him it's not okay.
It's done.
Go back to the drawing board. And, I mean, the song is simply having a wonderful Christmas time, which basically he's telling you. And then, like, and that's enough. Like, he said that. Like, this is the least amount of effort I can give to a song. And you simpletons just gobble it up.
Hey.
You see this Mercedes I bought, or this Aston Martin? I did that from just the royalties from that one song. I also wrote Obla Dee Obla Da, which is a gorgeous, wonderful song. I did that, but I also did this.
It's good to have balance in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Abbey Road was part of that, but I also did this.
If it wasn't Paul McCartney, I guess it wouldn't be a hit then.
Probably not.
It'd just be a list of things you at Christmas time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a great book and movie called About a Boy that stars Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult, who's about to be Lex Luthor. He's like an amazing actor now, but he was a little kid then. And in that movie, Hugh Grant, he doesn't have a job, but he's independently wealthy because his dad wrote a Christmas song called Santa's Super Sleigh that they play in London over and over and over again. And I think that is making fun of that. I think that's what Nick Hornby's making fun of.
Okay.
He would never probably come
That's a
out
good
and
call.
say that.
Yeah, you
because,
can't say you made fun of Paul
You can't just make
McCartney.
fun of Sir Paul McCartney if you're British, but I'm not British. I'm just telling you, he can do better.
Did you see yesterday the Beatles tribute movie that they did?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean,
I was surprised it didn't get more attention, but I guess it's because it wasn't that great.
yeah, music biopics are either amazing or they're just okay, well, let's take that, like a Hallmark movie where they're like, okay, let's take that formula of Walk the Line, so good, Ray, so good. We're going to take that and we're going to just plug in this other person to it.
Right.
Like, all right, Hank Williams, boom. Well, it's kind of the same movie. So
Yeah, it's
you
just
didn't do anything different.
Just different actor in there.
So anyway, all right. Let's get to some news. Wake Forest is hiring a new coach. They're hiring Jake Dikert from Wazoo. And I think that's a great hire. And I have to do something today. I have to let a dream go.
Get it off your chest, Paul. I've been waiting for this one.
Jamie Chadwell's just not going to get a job because I want him to. I thought he would be perfect for that. Now, look, Jake Dickert's going to be great for it.
Right.
I'm not going to, I think Jake Dickert's a fantastic coach. We've had him on the show. He's really good. He navigated this situation. His situation at Wazoo was get hired to replace Nick Rolovich, who wouldn't get the shot, so they fired him. Then take over, do well, following up Mike Leach, by the way. So, there was always that expectation at Wazoo. Then deal with the fact that the Pac-12 is we're breaking up and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there's nowhere for you to go.
There's nowhere for you to go. We don't really care about you. He navigated it really, really well. But, they're moving, they're essentially moving conferences again in a year. I wouldn't want to go through that again if I'm Jake Dikert. I don't want to be in a power league because he's very clearly a power league capable coach. So going to Wake Forest is a good move for him. And I don't think he'll really be at Wake Forest more than 4 or 5 years before he moves up to a bigger power league job. He's really good, really fantastic. And so going to Wake, great move. But I've been on hiring Jamie Chadwell to the power level for 3 years now.
About at least 3. Yeah.
3 years. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe North Carolina would do it. No. I thought maybe West Virginia. No, let's go back to the past. Hey, UCF, give them a look. No. Scotty Frost. So here I am. I'm just letting the dream go. It's over. It's it may happen one day, but I can't promote it anymore because I think I'm hurting him more than I'm helping him at this point.
Do you think his agent's just saying no to these people, or you feel it's just not?
I think that his lack of P4, here's the thing. I remember thinking this when I was young and trying to get a job. You'd look at a job and you're like, well, I can do that job. And they're like, oh, we
2 to 5 years experience.
2 to 5 years experience. So well, how can I get experience if you don't hire me?
Yeah.
How are you guys finding all these people awash in experience when you say you have 9 positions open? Mm-hmm. Clearly, you maybe shouldn't put that and then hope you get somebody with experience that can train all the newbies. But how can I do this unless you hire me?
Right.
And look, I've hired pretty much everybody in this room, right? And none of you had experience before you came to me, and I didn't have experience when I started, but you get experience because you teach people to do things.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't say listen, here's your job, surgery. I understand that I don't want an inexperienced surgeon. I don't want him going like appendix. That is on the middle. It's in the middle. Nope. Dang it. I always get that wrong. Took out the spleen again. But, like, so eventually somebody's going to have to give him that break and not care that he hasn't had that major experience. But I just think he's being wasted at Liberty.
Well, and I mean, you could argue at this point, the challenges are different. I guess I should say that. But being a G5 coach is just as hard, and in some ways,
well, he's getting paid well at Liberty.
Yeah, he is, and they're well funded, so it's a little different. But everybody's dealing with player retention issues. They're dealing with it to a larger extent because it does really feel like your program, in some ways, is like a farm system for other schools that are, lurching and vulturing around. So honestly, at this point, like Liberty and Wake Forest, there's some similarities. You're fending off higher suitors, bigger schools. You're having to work within your means. And Jamie Chadwell's done that well at Liberty. He's done that well at Coastal Carolina. He knows that area well. Yeah, it seems like a perfect fit. It is very strange that nobody is taking a shot at him or saying, hey, like, let's give you the chance. I mean, especially like Wake. I know Dave Clawson did a really good job kind of stabilizing that thing, but they could quickly see whether or not he's a good fit and move on from him if it didn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I would. But I do think, like, just thinking about Jake Dikert and what he's going to do now, Emory said that a bunch of his OU friends are panicked that Ben Arbuckle is now going to leave Oklahoma after just being there for 2 weeks and go up to Wazoo as the head coach. So we'll see. I don't know who the candidates are for the Wazoo job. But
yeah, that'd be a weird move. I mean, I would understand it, but I don't know how great of a look that is if you immediately take a head coaching job after being named the DC there. But it would be a chance to take over your own program and work within that system and see what you can do.
Yeah. If I'm Wazoo, I'm looking. I'm looking for somebody who is ready to deal with that transition of. It's not technically. It's a new conference. Like you're not moving, but you might as well be. I mean, you've got all these teams moving in. It's going to be a new thing. There's going to be a lot of PR responsibility, I think, for the coaches in that league for a year. Now, some of them have already been doing it to try to get into new leagues. But I would get somebody who can, deal with the pressure of, oh no, we think the Pac-12 is great. This is why we're good. Here's the numbers. Who can deal with that? Because you're now a G5. You're not a power league. As much as you want to say it, like they're never just going to give you that. Oh yeah, well you were before and you kept the name, so it was the name that made you the powerful, not the pieces of it. But I think that he's going to go and do great at Wake. And going into the ACC right now, there's no better time to go. Like the ACC and Big 12, there's no better time to be a head coach in those leagues. Yeah. Because who is lording over you right now? Now, look, Dabo Swinney took a transfer, and, like, that's a whole thing.
Hey, congrats to him on that.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that next segment. But so that might change everything. I mean, he only took one so far. He might take a couple more, but and he took a wide receiver first, which I thought that was the position he didn't like. He thought he was perfect at getting, but watching guys not get open a bunch of the time, I'm sure has gotten to the point where like, okay, well, maybe I do need a veteran wide receiver or two.
You can only pray over those guys so much.
Like, welcome in from high school, kid. How's the prom? You're starting at Clemson.
Good luck.
Oh, did I earn this job? Yes, you did. Why? Because I will not.
Because of some old-fashioned views, my friend.
Because I will not take someone who didn't want to come here in the first place.
That's right.
If they wanted to go somewhere else, I will not. By the way, also, he didn't go. He got a guy from Southeast Missouri. He didn't get a guy from which I think is almost sometimes the better way to do it. He didn't go and get like Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. He could have probably gotten in that business too. No. He's still gonna do Small Business Saturday which I respect. I do respect that part of it. But until he goes and gets somebody who could have also been at Alabama that told him no, like none of these guys, he didn't recruit any of these guys before. Like I know I'm going on, but no, I would love to be like Wake Forest. Dave Clawson's, competed and won the ACC. Jim Crow competed for the ACC. You can win there. You can win it at Wake Forest. You can win the ACC. Everything's going to be up and down. Like I don't really think that Clemson or Florida State can have the same kind of chokehold. Like this year really opened my eyes. I thought that FSU after last year had they've got a corner on this. They're FSU. They're going to be no. That they can go from 13-0 to 2-10, and that Clemson can be good but not great. Like they're not scary. Like there's nothing scary about them. Back when they had Trevor Lawrence and all that, those teams were scary.
Yeah, they were scary.
You did not want to play them. Now, they're good, but they're not
there's not that fear.
Oh dear
anymore.
God, what are we going to do?
And it's been brewing that way for a while. I remember when they lost, and I know Duke, Elko was still the coach, Riley Leonard was there, but them losing on that Thursday or Friday night to open the season against Duke last season, when their offense just couldn't do anything, was such a okay, this is a different world now for them.
Yeah. All right, so I think Jake Dikert will do well. I think that he'll be competing for the ACC title. And look, there's a million teams in the league.
Yeah.
All you need, honestly, Pitt was in it until the last month. There were a bunch of teams in it until the last month because if you get the right schedule, you can be, 5-0 or 6-1 in the league before you have to play anybody who's better than you. And that's the case for any league. Look at A&M this year. A&M undefeated in the league until they finally ran up against some teams that could hang. Texas, I think, was very fortunate that the only two teams they played that could hang with them were Georgia and A&M, and they took it to A&M so much so early, they were in their head. Of course, they were in their head before that game started, but they were in A&M's head. But they won that game 17-7, so let's not pretend like it was 37-7.
Yeah.
It was 17-7. A&M had opportunities to make that a game and just failed. Texas stopped them, but also A&M failed at that. But Texas got kind of lucky with their schedule this year. Next year, maybe, it's the same schedule kind of flipped, but maybe they're not, like I said, got to go on the road for 4 games in a row in the SEC. Maybe they're just not as lucky. And luck is always part of it. No matter how good you are, there's always luck involved. There's a game that goes your way because of a call.
Right.
There's a fumble that you didn't lose because it went out of bounds that would have ended a game, right? There's these things that happen. Luck is very much involved. The scheduling part of it is a lot of luck. And as the conferences get bigger, look, Indiana, extremely lucky that the only A-plus team they had to play all year long was Ohio State. 2 years from now, they could have a team that might be better player for player, but they get Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and
Michigan,
and Washington all together.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, crap. Not
End up
going to go 11-1 that
9-3
schedule.
or something like that. Yeah.
So just how it is. When we come back, let's talk about Dabo taking a portal player. I feel like as much as I've railed against him, I do need to give him credit where credit is due. So Paul gives Dabo Swinney credit coming up in just a second. This is the Triple Option.
Another day, another blank page. I just can't seem to write anything good for my blog.
I felt the same until I found blogfi.ai. It's like a content wizard that turns any media into a polished blog post. Ever thought your podcast could be read by people in Italy or Japan? BlogFi makes it happen. Not just translations, Jamie. You can choose from 8+ tones to match your style. Whether it's witty, formal, or casual, your blog will sound just right. From your YouTube videos to PDFs, even snapshots from your last trip. BlogFi.ai crafts SEO-optimized posts with the right meta tags and keywords. It's all about reaching your audience effectively.
This is incredible, Taylor. The dashboard is so user-friendly. I'm already full of ideas. It's like night and day. My draft versus what BlogFi.ai suggests, there's just no comparison.
And you're in good company. Many have turbocharged their blogging with BlogFi.ai. Just see what they're saying. Also, with YouTube Connect, you can sync your channel, bulk generate blogs, and even pinpoint sections of your videos to create targeted posts.
So, it's not just about blogs? I can really get creative with my content on all fronts. That's a game changer for me.
Absolutely. Why not start today? Head over to blogfi.ai and let's get those stories out there. The world's waiting.
From global reach with 125 plus languages to crafting the perfect story in any tone, Blogify.ai is your all-in-one platform for unforgettable content creation. Blogify.ai. Empower your words, enhance your story, enrich your audience.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome back, Paul Catalina and Steven Simcox. I was out sick yesterday, and I was so sick on Monday, and I had, Smokey wasn't here, so I just could not see myself doing 4 hours. Garrett, how sick did I seem to you on Monday?
You were pretty miserable.
I was
not gonna
miserable.
lie. You're pretty miserable.
My head was pounding the whole time. I had a friend who was he texted me, he goes, hey, take those Kleenex off the table. I was like, oh, are they on the table? I didn't notice. My snacks were on the table, everything. I was just I need it here. I need this by me. I got to have my fluids. I'm dying.
Did you have allergies? Sinus stuff?
No, we have a cold going around.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Steven. You're next.
No, that's okay. I'm exposed to all sorts of germs. I got 4 kids in my house.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you might be more immune but Garrett got it. Smokey was patient 0. Jack has it now. It's just how it is.
Is this worse than the Chuck Liddell flu?
No,
You guys
nothing's
got
worse
Super
than
Bowl
the
week
Chuck
one year?
Liddell flu. Nothing is worse than the Chuck Liddell flu that ripped through us. If I ever see that guy again, I'm going to give him a stern talk.
Were you at the station when that happened, Garrett?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because we were in San Francisco
yeah.
at the Super Bowl, and Chuck Liddell did an interview with us, and he was on his deathbed. He was oh,
Paul would have rather Chuck punched him in the face that day than gave him this disease.
It was a really good fight, and I beat him in 2 rounds, and it was a good kick I had. And,
it was so bad, Garrett Q missed work for 3 days.
Oh, damn.
And I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
Me either.
But anyway, and here's the thing: Q, he came up and Q straight up bro hugged him and all that, and
Yeah, might have kissed
he was
him. I don't
sitting there.
know.
I was like, dude, this guy is really sick. He is really, really. Q and I were in the same hotel room, so it was it was all over. It was just all over, and. But yeah, I was like, God, he is really, really, really sick. He was, and it was good on him for doing it. All he had to do was just show up and let all of us see him from a distance and be like, you know what, don't come.
That's all right. That's all right, buddy.
Don't come over here. But we all got very, very sick from him.
That's also such a pre-COVID thing too, showing up when you're sick and just fighting through it.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "Oh, that's admirable."
Well, I mean, he was fighting through it because he was getting paid a lot of money
Oh,
to
okay.
do that.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I get why you were fighting through it. Showing up and fighting through it when you make no extra money, to me, is now a dumb thing to do, right? If I'm really sick and I'm not going to make any extra money, I'm not going to show up and fight through it. This is not a textile mill in 1910, I read up in Sinclair's The Jungle. I get how it works. No, it's dumb. Like you can live without me for a day or two. It's fine. And I'll be better. And then none of you will be as sick. So everybody wins in that regard. But yeah, no. Nothing also, the Chuck Liddell flu wasn't as bad as the shot girl stomach virus I got in New Orleans a couple years before that.
Yeah,
That was really bad.
that was questionable.
That was what you call a low point. That was not the most self-esteem I've had in my life at that point, you know?
Well, we all learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. You know, a 6 in a bikini walks up to you after you already had a couple drinks and says, you want to do a shot? And then she's okay. And then she puts it in her mouth and pours it into yours. Like from the thing. She didn't like spit it into my mouth like a bird. But like.
Might as well have.
Might as well have. Because we got back. We had to record the show on Monday and we flew back. And then Monday night I was at my house and I was like, yeah. And then Tuesday morning, which was signing day, I was just like, I was the most disgusting fountain in the world coming out, but like it was just, you know, and then I thought like, how did I get this? And then it occurred to me, like oh, shot girl. And then when I remember going to work and I was like really sick, and Craig's like, from the shot girl, right? I'm like, had to be, it had to be.
Yeah, I feel like I guess I lucked out by not going to New Orleans on some of those trips because there's multiple media members that I know of that there's stories about either Sugar Bowl appearances or Super Bowl appearances where Bourbon Street led them to make some questionable decisions.
The last time Q and I went there, he was like, we were there for the Georgia and Baylor Sugar Bowl, and he was like, we defeated New Orleans. I'm like, no, we did not. We absolutely did not.
You may have, brother. I
No,
lost.
he was just telling himself that. We did not. My face was so like puffy one morning. Like I did the thing where like the models do where you dump ice in the sink and just dump your face in it. Yeah, we were at like press conference and like I remember like Rule walks in and is like, dude. I was like, yeah, I know. I know. Blame him. Blame him. Blame him. Yeah, absolutely a problem. So, man, Clint Moses says mean things in the chat, Garrett.
He's coming at you? What'd he say?
He said, my guess is Paul wanted his own channel to compete with a triple option with Urban Meyer instead of it being a sideshow under the 365 umbrella. Listen, this is a sideshow, but only because we want it to be. I get to call it a sideshow. You don't get to call it a sideshow, Clint.
It's the main show of the sideshow.
Yes. Of all sideshows, this is the main sideshow.
Yeah.
We're the bearded lady.
Come on.
Okay? That's what we are.
Come on, Clint.
Yeah. Come on, buddy.
I don't know you, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Look,
join
didn't
Paul.
you unleash DJU on me? Wasn't that punishment enough?
Yeah, that should have been enough.
And
That
he's
should
an
have been
Oregon
enough.
State guy. It's punishment enough. Like, yeah. You gave me a disease.
What did DJU do? Is he like still on the Florida State roster?
No, he's declared for the NFL draft.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Craig and I said the other day about him and Alan Bowman. Like they both declared for the NFL draft in the same day, and the NFL went, oh.
Hey.
Great.
They said, Alan, open up the LinkedIn portal, buddy.
They said, oh, great. This is like a scout's like, now I got to watch this guy's tape. The coach is going to come to me like, all right, tell me about Bowman and DJU. I think you know, Coach. Did you watch the tape? Yeah, you don't want to.
Alan, get ready to learn ambassador to the Boone Pickens Collective, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not a bad job. I'd take that job.
Yeah. So, Clint said he was stuck in the wrong chat room with 5 people. Look, we're trying to migrate over. Like we're trying to migrate and do things, but we have to Venn diagram it for a little while. All right, Stephen, before we get to the wheel in the next segment, because you have a great wheel topic. Actually, we don't even bother taking a break. I'll just have Emery bring us the wheel like he did last week. I like that bit of showmanship that we had. Dabo Swinney got in the portal.
He did.
Got in the portal, signed a wide receiver, and from Southeast Missouri, a good one, good player. And I actually think there's so many things I've been surprised about Dabo Swinney with the portal. like he doesn't go back to like all the other coaches. As soon as a player they really wanted goes in the portal, they reestablish that relationship. With Dabo, like if you told him no one time, it was like, that's it. You're dead to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I really shouldn't have gone to Auburn. I'd really like to go to Clemson. No, you go to Auburn, you like it. You made your choice. Dabo really loves the Bible, but that prodigal son story just goes right over his head. Just whiffed. I can just see him like sitting at the Bible study going, look, I've read this over and over again, and I really think the dad's being a total wuss here. I think he should have really stood his ground.
Yeah, he identifies with the younger brother. He's like, why are we celebrating this? I've been working this whole time.
Yeah.
This other dude just rolls in.
You kidding me? The fatted calf? This guy's getting veal parm? No! I refuse to just throw up veal parm for this guy who left with his drinking and his whoring.
Come on, Dabo. Let's get into some grace, brother.
Yeah, just missed it. But they are doing it, which to me should be kind of scary for the rest of the ACC because I can tell you it's kind of the reason why they were losing. Because you want to know the difference in the Georgia game this year that was prodigious was that Georgia had some holes and they filled them with transfers, and all those guys scored touchdowns. Travis Etienne scored a touchdown in that game, whose brother went to where? Clemson. The two guys from the two different guys they got from Vanderbilt scored touchdowns in that game against Clemson. And Kirby's like, listen, I'll take transfers from Vandy and beat you, Dabo. Mm-hmm. So I think that alone might have made him go, okay, look, I'll take 4 or 5 guys, right? Which is all he really needs to do.
Yeah, you don't need to do a wholesale roster change.
He's still one of the best recruiters and talent evaluators there are, and talent developers. He is great at it, but nobody's perfect, man. Mm-hmm. Nobody's perfect. So, look, I'll tell you, I'm just glad. I'm just glad. What are your thoughts, by the way? Kyle Visser asked me this. What are your thoughts on TCU's portal activity so far?
Well, they've been pretty quiet at the moment. They went and got a wide receiver in Joseph Manjack out of Houston that I like. He's been a solid player for a few years. He'll be, I think, an instant starter on the inside for them at the slot position. It's kind of a head-scratcher to me, Kavorian Barnes, a running back from UTSA, who saw his production decline a little bit, but I think that's mainly just kind of an extra body in that running back room. But honestly, I mean, they're really kind of banking on their last few high school classes panning out this upcoming season. And some of the guys they have returning, they've been really active in the portal for the past few years. And I think they're saying now, hey, we feel like we got this roster pretty much where we want it. We'll probably get one more wide receiver, a couple D linemen. They also got Ansel Denbu from Washington State, who had 6 sacks this past year. But we're not seeing a wholesale change. It definitely does feel a little underwhelming, Paul, when you look at like Tech is just buying anybody they see right now and changing in a big way. Baylor's adding some nice pieces, but I think TCU's just at a place at this point where they're saying, hey, we're going to bank on continuity being the big difference maker, adding a few pieces here and there. I feel like they're not done, but you're not getting into like 20 guys. It's probably going to be closer to 10 to 12 when all the dust settles here.
Yeah. My program has to get like 25.
Right.
So we've got like 4 so far. So chipping away.
Let's go.
Chipping away. All right. Emery, please bring the wheel. I feel like there should be like wheel music.
That's kind of a circus theme.
Yeah. Simply.
I was about to say, Garrett, tee up Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
All right. So I'm going to spin the wheel today. All right. And these are Christmas presents, correct?
You're giving Christmas presents to each of these programs.
Okay. And for those of you who have not seen it, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a box of whatever it is you're missing. I don't know what it is. They went all in the portal. They're going all in again. I think Mikey Keene, a quarterback I really do like, is going to go visit there. I think he's going to be kind of their stopgap guy, although I thought they had a guy on the roster that they liked, but maybe they feel he's not ready. But whatever it is you're missing, Lane, that keeps you out of the SEC race and so far now out of the playoff race, a box of whatever it is you're missing.
I'm going to give him a muzzle. Lane,
Yeah.
I love you, brother, but maybe just like take a break.
Yeah.
You know, send these jokes to a group chat.
Yeah.
Send your Reddit post about the polls to a group chat, not to Twitter every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just let your guys do your thing. Let it play out a little bit. Be a little quieter, buddy.
Okay. Here we go. Texas A&M. I'm going to send you. I'm trying to think of how to put this in a not crass way.
It's always a good start to a take.
I'm going to send you some truck nuts. This is the best way I can do it because it's really the only way that you might be able to fool yourself into like not chasing all these other programs. Just be yourself, A&M. You started down the way, but listen, truck nuts are a dumb thing. They're not real nuts. Your truck doesn't really have balls. Also,
thank you for explaining that to me. I was always confused.
Also, just for the creator of truck nuts, or if you like them, if those are the nuts and the truck is the other part, then it's really disproportionate. Just saying.
Fair point.
You would go to the doctor and he'd be like, you got something wrong. we need to take you to a specialist right away. But like just something that can give you that sense of confidence that you need to get over your little brother syndrome.
Are you saying they need to embrace their cringe?
I think they need to embrace everything that they are. Okay. I think they need to stop trying to be somebody else.
Okay.
The thing that Texas has always been able to do, and I'm not saying I'm not giving, look, I gave Dabo Swinney a compliment. I don't need to give Texas a compliment today, although I think I will be pulling for Texas this weekend for the first time and probably the last time in my life. But I just don't want him to have things. That's why. But Texas has always been able to be exactly who they are. They're not trying to be anybody else. They're Texas, and that's it.
They take it head on.
Yeah. And the programs here are the most consistently good, which Texas in football has not been. But they are now, and probably because they have embraced, again, all right, let's be who we are in a realistic manner. Sometimes you can, like, be who you are and be too much of who you are. Like, they pulled back at least Steve Sarkisian pulled back the entitlement a little while. 2005 was the best and worst thing that ever happened to Texas because they won a modern championship, but then they thought, well, now we just get to win them all. And, like, you forgot how hard it was to get back and win that one. It took a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback for you to do that. Yeah. And they had some really good quarterbacks between national titles in that time, but not one that was as good as Vince Young to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So A&M, for them, I'm just giving them just something to,
get over the hump.
To get over the hump. To, like, sometimes you got to trick yourself. And look, if you're a person with truck nuts, you're really tricking yourself a lot of the time.
Just be yourself. The more you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't really follow that up. That was not the direction I thought you'd go at all. But I would say A&M's kind of already doing this. They need playmakers. They're chasing them. They're trying to get them in the portal.
Yeah.
And, I mean, defensively, they're pretty solid. You just have to have somebody who can take the top off the defense.
Look, Mario Craver and Micah Hudson, if they both work out, that's going to be
good.
Really,
it's going to be really good
for them. So, all right. Colorado. I'm going to give – they already got Caden Salter, by the way. So they got their quarterback, their bridge quarterback. You know what I'm going to give them? A running game. They need a running game.
That's good, yeah.
For Caden Salter, look, Caden Salter's good. Juju Lewis might be unbelievable. We don't know yet. We only know he's a really good high school player. There's no way that they can sustain the kind of success they have without running the ball. Shadur Sanders is going to be the first pick in the draft over his Heisman Trophy winning teammate because he's a quarterback and he's the best one in the country. You cannot rely on that forever. So I'm going to give them a running game because they need it very badly.
I'm going to give Dion a pen and a paper because he's going to be without Shadur for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
I know we got phones and everything else, but I just think writing each other on a regular basis will be
Yeah.
good for Dion.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
Shador, for Travis Hunter. I mean, this is a new world he's stepping into, Paul.
Yeah.
He's still got some talent, but not the all-world talent that he had
Yeah.
the last few seasons.
Also, I was a very emotional thing, Travis Hunter talking to his dad.
Yeah.
His dad's reasoning for not going, I don't quite understand, but to each their own. Like, he can't win the Heisman Trophy again. I mean, technically he could come back and do it again, but he's not going to win it again because he's going to be
In the NFL.
the second or third pick in the draft next year. So you can't win that. Like, I don't know. Feel like you missed your shot at going to that thing. I'm sure the steak is wonderful at that dinner as well. LSU. I'm going to give you new general manager Garrett Ross.
Let's go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Let's
Garrett
go.
Ross is in charge of your program. He can bring Scarborough on if he wants.
Yeah, Scarborough will come.
And you can, and he will help you fix what's going on. He has a very realistic look at the program, and look, I maybe make him in charge of the entire program to where he can decide if Brian Kelly gets to stay or not. Like you can be the guy who's there for a year, and then Steve Woodward comes to you and goes, "All right, do we keep him?" And you probably say, "No, I know you," but you at least are going to give him a fair shot to learn some new things.
I would say that's fair. I would give him an opportunity. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing he's going to stick around, but yeah, I might keep him around, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give him a communication director with the caveat of don't let Brian Kelly talk to anybody. Just he doesn't get to talk to the media anymore. He doesn't need to really interact with players that much. Just scheme it up, Brian. We'll take care of, the human interaction piece.
What he's really good at is the administrative stuff.
Yeah.
That's really one of the things that brought him in from Notre Dame is he's really good at that, like, top-down, like, getting that organizational flow chart going.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, as we saw at Notre Dame and now at LSU, he's good, he's not great. Like, he's good, he's not great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean he can never become great? No, I hate to say that about anybody. You can become great. You just have to find that little window that you jump through.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you don't become great because you willfully do not see the window.
Right.
This is also something Jerry Jones can learn. When you willfully ignore the window, then you're going to be like, why am I not great? And you're like, well, I mean, there's been windows.
Yeah.
You just willfully ignored them. Baylor. You know what? I'm going to give Baylor a box full of more momentum because they've got a lot of momentum right now, and they need to keep that going. Recruiting's gone well. Transfer portal's gone well. They haven't lost anybody that they'd really want to keep. They're like Dave Aranda has been able to detach himself from that a little bit. Like, I think sometimes you're like, oh, if we just see what we want, like, if you've got a guy who's not performing for you and is not comfortable, let him go. And then go get somebody else. It's a hard way to rethink doing your roster, but I think it's the best way. So that's what I'd give Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, I'd stick with that. Just kind of I guess don't change anything. And then they're working on it in the portal, but just some more juice on defense, some more playmakers. I feel like Dave took that unit over. He's trying to get them back to a place that was similar to what he did at LSU. It's just going to take some time. They figured the offensive part out of it, and now you got to get the other unit playing complementary football.
Yeah. I'm not giving Georgia anything.
Yeah, that's fine. You
They
don't have
have
to.
everything they need. I'm not going to give them anything. You know what? I'm going to give them you know what I'm going to give them?
Speed bumps.
Yeah, speed, but like driver safety. Like,
call.
they can have
Defensive
driver
driving,
safety.
yeah.
That's what they're going to get.
Defensive driving class.
They don't need anything else. There's nothing I can give them that's going to help them.
You're not going to give Carson Beck a new arm? A healed arm? Healed rotator cuff?
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Okay? I'm not worried about Kirby at all. The only thing that could derail Kirby is honestly Kirby's refusal to deal with the fact that he had he had character issues in his program. He seems to have grasped it now and is doing something about it. But for 2 full years, he was just like, He was totally John Voiding it in Varsity Blues. My boy's giving you any trouble? No, coach. Yeah, that's how it was. Nothing. I give Florida nothing. I give them nothing but spite. I don't know. I don't want to be this guy. It's the Christmas season. You're supposed to.
No, you don't have to give them anything, Paul. I'll back you up on that.
I don't want to give them
There's
anything.
a team on this list I'm not going to give anything.
This one, SMU?
Yeah, they get a bucket of coal.
Yeah. Nothing. I give them nothing.
I'm going to give them an insider trading investigation into all these boosters. Send them back to the Stone Age.
With Florida, here's what I'm going to do. If I got them in Secret Santa, I would just get them something from their own desk. Like, is this my pencil cup? Yeah. Merry Christmas, asshole.
You repackage that clinic spot.
Yeah, that's what it would be. Right there.
All right, 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. SMU, you're not getting them
I'm
anything.
not giving them a dang thing.
Yeah. They don't need anything fancy from me, but I will give them a good, nice, emotional push to please go beat James Franklin. Beating James Franklin is a great thing. He is in the non-self-aware coaches club, of which I'm going to spin to Ohio State so I can get to that one next. But in the non-self-aware coaches club is James Franklin, and Rhett Lashley, very self-aware. Awesome guy. Love Rhett Lashley. I know you don't, but I'll just tell you, love Rhett Lashley.
Nothing against him, just people he associates with.
Yeah. The people that pay him and all that. Yeah, I get it.
He sold out.
No, I'm not going to. But, yes, so please go win the playoff game. Ohio State. Here's the thing. I'm going to give Ryan Day the most Advil you can give a human being because if and when they lose this game to Tennessee this week,
bad news.
I kind of think they're gonna. I really do. I haven't made my pick yet. And Ohio State's at home, and it's really tough to win there. And it's going to be super cold, and Nico is not a guy who's played in the cold ever in his life, so I think that's going to be a problem. But I don't know, man. It's more of a vibe thing. If you did a vibe check with me on Ryan Day and Ohio State, I kind of feel like there's Ohio State fans that wouldn't so much mind this happening in that, we asked Matt Brown about it on Monday. What happens if he loses? And he said that he's an Ohio State grad. He said, I think there's a really good chance that Ohio State and Ryan Day would come together and decide that he would be much happier being the offensive coordinator of the Colts or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd give him a divorce decree, not for his wife, but just from this situation.
Just this.
Let's get out of this toxic relationship. It's not working for either party.
No. I wonder if he'd be a totally different person somewhere else.
I doubt it. He seems pretty set in his ways.
Yeah, but you ever meet someone who you didn't like them and you didn't really like the person they were with, but because of the social circumstance, you have to hang out with them.
Right.
And then the person that they were with that you didn't like more is gone. They break up with them. And then this guy comes in, you're like, you know what? Randy can party.
Yeah, I could see.
This guy's fun.
I could see Ryan Day.
Randy was.
Sure.
Yeah. I wonder if Ryan Day, say Ryan Day just winds up one day as the coach of, South Carolina or USC. USC might give it a job that's a good job, but without the
Ryan Day at Oklahoma State. That would be like a sitcom character going to Cabo and coming back with braids in the next episode.
Yeah.
He's just super chill.
Yeah.
Just suddenly is life. Hey, whatever happens, happens, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just out here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Heck yeah. It's like Yellowstone without the mountains. Let's do this. All right, let's see one more. Let's see. Who do I have to get to? Do I need to get to my
we got Florida State on there if you want to give them
Florida State's
something.
on there. I think that's the last one with Boise State. It's the only one we haven't done. Florida State and Boise State are the only ones we haven't done. So for Florida, and Alabama. Alabama gets nothing. They've been too much. They're the Georgia boat.
What would you give your alma mater, Paul?
I would give them my expertise and my brain. I could fix this. Garrett, you think I could fix it?
I mean, I'm in your corner, man.
Thank you. Emery, you think I could fix it? Yeah. Andrew? Yeah. There we go. Okay. That's all I need. Is that
it's always good to ask your yeah, sure. It's always good to ask your subordinates questions in pressure situations.
Steven is a former subordinate. Would you?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think you do great, Paul.
Yeah,
I seriously do. Let's do it. Paul Catalina, general manager for FSU football.
Yeah, no, I think I give them my expertise, my support, my platform of 63,000 subscribers. Actually, 75 if you count the 12,000 on the other channel.
Yeah, so, Clint, 12,000 on the other channel, brother.
Yeah, so. I mean, not that was built up by me. It was mostly JD and Josh, but still, it's people.
Still counts.
It's people. Still, yeah, exactly. Still counts. So I give them my brain and my expertise, something that since the 25 years I've been involved with that program, they have yet to tap into.
You got a 10-second answer on Boise?
For Boise State, I give them a clone of Ashton Genty.
That's a good one.
I give them a clone. We've been working on it in a lab. And here's the thing. When this one runs out of eligibility, we're just going to
do it again?
Yeah, and we're not going to multiplicity this. They're going to be not clones of clones. So you're not going to get the weird one that wears a boot on his head.
Oh, good.
You're going to get like a clone of Ashton Genty every time. He's volunteered. He's going to go in, and that's what you're going to have. Now, is it going to be Ashton Genty? No, because that would be easy for people to figure out. He'll have different names, and different numbers.
Sure.
But they'll be like, this guy's just like Ashton Genty. Like, I don't know how they keep finding him. But yeah, that's what I'll do for them. I will multiplicity. And like first part of, again, not going to make a clone of a clone. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have somebody going, I like pizza. She touched my baby, Steve. You won't have that.
I love
Multiplicity,
this.
Underrated movie, by the way.
Thanks for getting us in the holiday spirit, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. So, by the way, Friday's top 5, Steven, just to tease it for 2 days, is why Die Hard is, in fact, a Christmas movie.
Oh, that's
the definitive reasons why. And then and it's not just because it takes place on Christmas. Like, I gave a deep dive. Emery has researched it for me, and he has backed up my claims. Once again, as I've learned from our former and now incoming president, having yes men around you can help you get a lot done.
It really does, yeah.
It really can help you get a lot done. That's going to do it for us. Today, we've got Jeff Traylor on the show. We also have several other people of varying expert levels, like Taylor McHargue, who is one of our favorite guests. He's on at 340. Cole Kubelik, ESPN college football analyst and big-time Auburn guy. He can give us some opinions on that. And our friend Zach Gelb, plus my top 5, which today is the naughty list. We have a naughty list and a nice list, and then why Die Hard. That's the rest of the week, the Die Hard one. So, Steven, I know you're a person who, since you're a real man who likes awesome things, that Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Great movie. Great Christmas movie. Yep.
Yeah, it's a great Christmas movie. And so we're going to go through the definitive reasons why it is on Friday. But today, the naughty list. Who is on the naughty list for this year? And some of these people are. So,
okay.
Yeah, just to give you a little tease. That's going to do it for us. See you in an hour, everybody.